In this video, I'll introduce you to the second genre of oral literature, which is the oral poems and songs. In the traditional African society, our lives were marked from birth to death by songs. We sang when someone was born, and we sang when someone died. We sang when we found someone we loved, and we sang when we went to war. We sang when we worked. We sang when we praised leaders. We sang when we were in the fields as children playing. We sang to lull babies to sleep. Our lives from birth to death were marked by a melody. Oral poems and songs are one and the same thing. The only difference is in their execution. Poems are chanted or recited, while songs are sung. Now let us look at the features of oral poems and songs. One of the most important features of oral poems and songs is something we call the call and response structure, also known as antiphony. This simply means that during the performance, we have a person or a group that will be the soloists, and then we have a person or another group that will be the chorus. Someone calls and the other person answers. Also related to the call and response structure is what we call the conversational tone in oral poems and songs. A conversational tone means that when you look at these songs, we always find the idea of two people or two groups talking. It is related to the call and response, but when you look at the songs, you feel like, there is a conversation happening between two or more groups of people. The other feature of oral poems and songs is the use of direct address. You always have this feeling that someone is being directly addressed using the pronoun you. So you will find something like someone is asking, why did you go? Why have you done this? In this situation, these words are directed towards an individual or a group of individuals. So there is that use of direct address. Related to this direct address is a feature called apostrophe. This happens when we address an inanimate object, a plant, someone who is not there, someone who doesn't have the ability to talk, or even a dead body. We can even address a higher power. When we address a character who doesn't have the ability to talk, then we call that apostrophe. Oral poems and songs also employ a lot of repetition. Repetition is where a word, a phrase, a line occurs more than once, or even an idea, and sometimes we even have a piece of action occurring more than once. This is repetition. Repetition is used to create emphasis, and it can also be used to achieve musicality. Most of the oral poems and songs that you're going to be meeting in the classroom situation have been translated from their native languages. When we translate a piece of oral literature from its native language to the language of translation, sometimes we can have a word from the original language being kept intact. This occurs because sometimes these words have a very big cultural significance. Sometimes the language of translation does not have an equivalent word, and sometimes we just do it to sprinkle some flavor on the piece. This makes the oral poem or song authentic and believable. Oral poems and songs employ sound devices. The first one is rhyme. Rhyme is the occurrence of words that end in the same syllable at the end of lines. An example, a word such as grace will rhyme with face. So when we have grace at the end of line 1 and you have face at the end of line 2, then there is rhyme because the ace part of those words is the same. The second sound device is alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the initial consonant sounds in words that are close in a line of poetry. Two words can be very close and they both begin in the sound la, like last. So the la, that is going to be alliteration. The third sound device is consonance. Consonance is where we have the same consonant sound in different words in any other place apart from the initial positions, meaning that in one word we can have a consonant sound in the middle and then in the next word we have it at the end. This consonant sound does not occur at the beginning, so any other place apart from the initial position, the same consonant sound in different words, we call that consonance. We also have assonance, which is the repetition of vowel sounds in words in a line of poetry. Assonance, consonance, alliteration, and rhyme can also be called sound patterns, and these sound patterns are used to create rhythm, to make the poem memorable, and to add some flavor to the poem. The fifth sound device is what we call onomatopoeia, and onomatopoeia is where we use words that imitate sounds. These words are part of our vocabulary. An example is hissing and buzzing. The hissing of snakes and the buzzing of bees, these are words that imitate the sound that these creatures make, and these words are part of our vocabulary. They are in the dictionary of the language. We also have the use of idiophones. Idiophones also imitate the sounds in the environment, but they are made up words. They don't have a dictionary meaning. They're not part of the vocabulary. An example, someone can just say, I heard a sound pa. So that pa is a made up word that imitates a sound that this person heard. These are just some of the features of oral poems and songs that we are going to meet in our oral literature journey. As I said in the beginning, our lives in the traditional African society were marked from birth to death using songs. So in the next video, we are going to look at the first type of oral poems and songs, the birth songs.